Hey and welcome. It's Richard here from iSalon Coaching. It's Ask iSalon Coaching Friday. And today I spoke to a salon owner in the UK. You know who you are when you see this, a big thumbs up. And what I wanted to talk about today really is the same argument I get from salons here in Australia and in the US. It's a major problem we're facing at the moment, and it's only going to get worse. But what I want to sort of work out with you guys today is how to get ahead of everybody else. So the ones who are out here listening to this at the moment who feel that it's a problem for them, you're in the majority because most people are having the same issues. And for me, what I need to try and sort of come across is the fact that there is a solution for this, and you can take this on board if you want to and act on this solution, or you don't have to. The ones that do take this on board and do really figure out this, what I'm going to explain to you, will be miles and miles ahead of everybody else. So if this is not affecting you yet, it will. If it is affecting you now, you have two choices: to watch this video, enjoy it, or actually watch this video, take notes, and really hit home with it. So let's start. This is the number one concern I'm seeing at the moment. Okay, we shall see how this is. Um, my drawings do get worse, by the way, they really do. Okay, let's make this a nice happy face. Cool. This is a staff member. Okay, and over here in your salon, for example, here we go again. Excuse me. Is an exceptionally another staff member. And the problem we have at the moment is we don't seem to have enough of these. And I'm going to call these your star person. Now, she's not necessarily a star. She just can do her job and earn you some money. So let's say here, for example, in the UK, 25,000 a year, you might be happy with that. Here, I would be happy with 150,000. You might want to be up, you might want to be down, but I'd be happy with 150,000. So this is what we call the standard of what you're after. And the problem we have, we all know this, if you could times this person by 10, you would be timing this by 10. So we're looking really at a £250,000 turnover or a 1.5 million turnover in your salon. The problem we have, and everyone has here at the moment, is we can't find these people. They just don't exist. We can't get staff for love or money. This has been around for years. It's just hitting a criteria at the moment. And because we haven't been through the process, people don't want to take on apprentices, or apprentices leave. You've heard me talk about your dream. They'll follow you on your journey. But today we're talking about how do you get this person? Because, yes, excuse me, I've got a dry mouth today. The thing is, we can moan about it all we want. We can moan about the taste. We can moan about the colleges. We can moan about how they're not, the Gen Y is not what we like. But you know what? It's not going to change anything unless you change it yourself. No one's going to look after it. It's down to you. So we know we need this. Easy. You know what this is because when you put an advert in the paper, you know what you get. Okay. So all you need to figure out is a pathway from here to here. That's it. Figure that pathway out. Now we know, if you do your maths, what this person is worth to you. You know, 150,000, that's what she's worth. Now what are you going to spend out of your time, your sweat, your tears and your money to get 150,000 a year? And averagely they'll stay 2 or 3 years, so this is worth about 450,000 to you. How much are you going to spend for that? I'd spend a lot. I don't know about you. So what we need to figure out is the starting point. What is the starting point? Can't mind if I'm writing capitals or not. Look, how bad's that? What is your starting point for this particular person? That's what we need to figure out. You see, let's just work out, for example, to get this particular person on the floor, working, confident, selling retail, managing a column, getting rebooks, being fantastic, being good at color, good at balayage. Let's just say, I'm going to use something really silly now. let's just say it takes 50 points. Okay, so 50 points, I'm talking 50 little things. So they know how to wash, they know how to fold towels, know how to gown someone up. There's 50 things that make up this super duper person. You need to know what these 50 things are. They should be in your training manual. And by the way, if you don't have a training manual for your staff, you need to start writing one out. So let's just say it's 50 points. When you interview them, you've got to have a starting criteria. Now, mine is attitude and punctuality. And after that, if it takes me to train them 50 things, I'll train them. But they have to start with the attitude and punctuality. But they might come to you straight from TAFE, straight from another salon, they're a third year, and they might be, so for example, that's your one, that's your 50. Okay, so you need to have a training manual which goes like this. I might not get them all in here. Please don't count them and say there's only 47. Okay, so that'll be your 50 points that you've got. So you take on someone who comes straight from school, knows nothing. You've got to teach her 50 things in 3 years or 2 years or whenever you want to do it. Get them on the floor. Easy. That's the easy bit. Hey, now what happens if you fast track them yourself? What happens if you dedicate a full day every single day of your working life to teach these people to get to here? Do you reckon you can knock 2 years off that? I reckon you could. So your job is to get this over to here. We talk about the client journey. Now, what about your staff's journey to get them to here? Okay, so we need to move across here. You might employ this girl, and after you've assessed her and assessed these people properly, they might be here, which means you've only got to teach them this bit to get them on the floor. Now, we all know that. We all know that when someone comes, they're not adequate enough. And what we do is we just plod along and expect them. But you need these 50 steps lined down with a timeline. So step number one, step number two. How long does it take? How many hours on the floor do they need to master that? So they can tick off number two. And away they go. Do you know how many steps it takes to go from 0 to on the floor? Like, have you wrote this down? You should have. This should be already done in your staff's handbook. It should be done. You should have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. It's quite simple. When I take on an apprentice straight away from here, in week 1, they need to know their prices of my salon. Every single price that is on the retail stand. In week 2, they've got to know every price in my computer system. In week 3, they've got to know every single booking time zone in my system. 4, they need to know the cleaning schedules, how it gets done, how we like it done, and so on and so on and so on. And then eventually we get into cutting and coloring and different formats. We start off basic, building foundations, and away we go. We do that because it's technical, it's what we do. But this needs to be done from someone who knows 0 to a fully qualified person on the floor, therapist or hairdresser. You build this up, right? And you have got the key to literally getting as many staff as you want. When everyone else is down the road moaning about not having enough staff, you are then printing them. You are getting them. And what makes you different to everyone else is because you're going to act on this and you're going to do it. Is it going to be easy? Not at all. It might take you a year to master this, but in a year from today, the difference is you know how to produce staff and you know how to produce them to the highest standard that you feel possible. And that's your standard because your standard is the highest possible in your world. So you can produce this. You've got it documented down. You've got it all processed in. You know how to make staff. Now, the one thing that I make joy out of, and I do make joy out of this, and I'll explain why. It's really hard to get a good salon. It's really hard to make money from a salon. It's really hard to build a team and build that culture in your salon. Some of you here might find it very easy, but it's not. It's doing lots of bits of work. But the joys of hard to build this and hard to get a successful salon is that other people are finding it hard too. Now, to me, that's comfort knowing full well that if I'm working harder than them, I'll get it done. And in a year's time, they're a year behind me and they don't even know what's going on. Why do you not have problems getting staff? Why are your staff so good? Why are your clients staying around longer? Why are you making more money? Why have you got a better house? Why have you got new cars? They're going to ask all these questions, but you know what? You got to put the hard work in. You got to crush it. It's as simple as that. Now, everybody I know, I've done a survey. The number one complaint is can't find staff. I speak to England, I can't find staff. I speak to America, I can't find staff. But you know what? They're too busy moaning about what's going on. They're too busy moaning about the TAFEs and the colleges. They're too busy moaning about Gen Y. They're too busy moaning about everything else. And they need to sit down, look in the mirror, like Michael Jackson said, start with yourself. Build this system. Don't rely on TAFEs. Don't rely on the salon down the road not churning them out good enough so you can get their rewards. You employ a senior. Are they not as good as they used to be? No. What are you churning out? You know, don't be lazy. Build the system and you will never have this problem again. Because once you build this once, just once, it's yours forever. You'll have your pieces of paper, you'll have all your folders. So for example, let's just say day one, Daisy comes for a job at your salon. You are fantastic, right? Which means she knows nothing. Straight from school, zero. You're going to hand her a training manual with 50 to-dos. 50 to-dos with deadlines and timelines of how long it takes to do that. Learn the prices 1 week. Learn the price of my cut and blow dries 1 week. Learn how to start a salon cleaning 1 week. It builds like that. You give her deadlines. She has a purpose in her life when she comes to work. She has 50. Easy. Now, let's just say we get someone else come along now. It's not Daisy. Let's make him a male. It's Trevor. Trevor's been around. He's a third year. He's only here. You then remove if you don't need the first sections of what he knows. He knows how to wash. You show him once it's done. It's easy. He now has a book, very, very similar to Daisy, but his book only has 40 pages in it. So he now has 40. You remove the 10 that he doesn't need. Now has a personal journey to become your star purpose that's going to earn you at least 150,000 in this country, 25,000 pounds in the UK. Now, to be really honest now, this is not hard. This is not easy to do. It's hard work. It takes time and effort. But you know what? It means this time next year, you will have a system where you can get staff and clients that stay around longer because you have trained this star, or you might get someone who's here, by the way, and their book, there might be a senior and they've only got 10. The tweaks. What makes you special more than anybody else here is the fact that this timeline for an apprentice from zero is now 3 years, right? That's what we're on now in this country. Might be the same way you are. What happens if you're so good at what you do and you can make this 1 year? How much time and effort are you going to put into this to get this reward? And not just that reward. The fact is that staff, they're hard to come by. To be really honest, they're hard to come by. They want the top money. They don't want to work for it. They've had it so easy. They've got so many bad habits. So the whole idea is if you have this journey, you come and work for me and you go, this is the way it is here. I will take you on a personal journey. I will train you to be the best there is. We have standards in this salon. That's why our clients come to us. Are you ready to take your journey with me? To make you better at your craft? Make you better at your trade? If they have the right attitude, they're going to jump at it, and you want more of these. But the problem is in this time scale, which is we're going to call your salon, what tends to happen is you're putting out fires, you got people sick, you got people calling up, you got clients running late, you got to pay the bills. That's what happens. But if you had this plan every day when you got up, you know what Daisy and Trevor need to do. I believe personally we wouldn't be sitting here moaning about not enough staff. So do you know what? People out there have trained this staff not to a good standard. We moan about them. You as a salon owner is just the same. Break this cycle today by building your own training schedule. I don't care if it's juniors or if it's apprentices or it's senior staff. Build this and get them to this standard ASAP. This is where they make you money. Stop dilly-dallying in this section here. It's going to make you no money. They're going to get bored. You're going to get over it. And it's wasting everyone's time. Oh, a long one today. Hey, that was massive. Any problems, any concerns, you know how to get in touch with me. Give us a comment, give us some love. Let's see how it goes.